and gentlemen, we are back for another Spy Family. We have the third of the co-hosts, Matt. He is back, ladies and gentlemen. What's going on, dude?
Glad to be back. Sorry I keep missing it, but life be getting in the
Hey,
way. But I'm
hey,
happy to be here.
Hey, look, it's a miracle we recording this on a Monday.
Hey.
It just doesn't happen. I got Lucas here as well. What's going on, Lucas?
hey, man! I bought me a Spy Family shirt today.
Really?
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Really? What?
I said, "Wow!" I saw it. I was looking for T-shirts for Comic Con just to not be a I like wearing nerd shirts in certain venues and not look professional. I was buying shirts. I said, "Hey, that's a Spy Family shirt." I said, "I got to get that. If I don't get nothing else, it's a Spy Family shirt in the image of Kill Bill." Which I said, "This is perfect. This is perfect, man."
That is freaking awesome. You gotta tell me where you got that from. Somebody end
No,
up
I'm
getting the
not.
same
No,
thing.
exactly. That's what I'm not telling you. See what I mean? See what I mean? We are not. We
Okay.
are not. We are not dressing alike ever.
Anyway, let's go ahead and kick it into high gear. We're about to talk about episode 7 of Spy Family. So Anya has made it into the school, but unfortunately, she also defended herself and decked the one individual she wasn't supposed to, per your giving her the expert advice of defending herself. And
Mhm.
yes, she did make a friend in Becky, but now she has to deal with the ramifications of trying to get back in with this that individual and apologizing to him. What did you guys think about this episode, for one?
We're gonna
I just put
eventually get you to.
I
We're
put a
gonna
little face up
eventually.
there.
I'm about to say eventually we're gonna get you to point to me and Matt. Say, hey, what do you think about the
Yeah,
episode,
yeah.
Matt? It's,
I, I, I
it's,
What do you think about the episode?
I mean, it goes down the same pattern as so far. I think it's the groove of Spy Family, which is the humor, semi-serious nature of it. It comes across as just a perfect like family comedy to watch with
Right.
nice serious moments to break the mundane of it just being overly too comical. And it works wonders here. This whole family dynamic, this whole thing of Lloyd following her around school the entire day for her
Right.
to apologize, him putting messages on everything humanly
He
possible
was like putting
for
subliminal messages
her
everywhere.
to
She was
apologize. Look, I lost it when he did it in a rice omelet. I said, damn, he's just not gonna give her a break until she apologizes. But again, it's cute. This is what it, it's the relationship you needed to see between Anya and Lloyd. I
Yeah.
love the way they're progressing that father daughter dynamic. Because here it was a concerned father, like, well, granted, if she doesn't succeed, it kills my mission. It was him also understanding, like, this is a little girl. Like,
Right.
by the end, like, she looks up to me.
Mhm.
She's doing everything for my approval.
Right.
Down to him finally saying, I wonder what it would be like to have a real family.
mm.
Not
Right. Nephew
understanding
Leo.
him saying that is odd because he's technically in a real family.
Right.
The love is still there. The love is still the same. I don't think they could make a bad episode of this show now because you know what you're getting. You're getting a cute family dramatic comedy
Yeah.
with spies and ninjas.
Yeah. Yeah. And just the supernatural science fiction stuff. Matt, what about you? What did you think about this episode? Quick
Oh man,
overview.
yeah.
Thoughts.
No, I loved it. I mean, just to echo off of that. I mean, I'll just say this: it's amazing when you really think about it how much people are able to take physical pain, but when
Mm.
it comes to words, it really hurts you. Like it really messes with you so much. Like it was just interesting, I'm going to say that with the scene with Anya, trying to approach the Desmond kid and trying to apologize, and she's hearing these thoughts of these other kids,
Hmm.
and it's obviously they don't know that she can hear what they're saying or what they're thinking about, but it's the words that are tearing her apart, like all these name calling, you raccoon this, you ugly this and that, and it hurts her, and she breaks down and starts crying, and like that hurt me, man. I just wanted to hop in the screen and pull them kids by the ears and be like, "Where your parents at? Like, don't you dare talk to my Anya like that. I was getting heated low key, but I was like, these are like rich prick kids, they only do what they were taught. So, but it was just really interesting to see like Lloyd just trying to make sure the efficiency of his mission, goes through, and finding very creative ways to try to get her to apologize and to remind her that she has to apologize. So that was really good. And seeing his little crush, my man has a little crush on Anya. He doesn't even realize it yet.
He don't know what to do with it. He's like, I'm crippled by this journey. He's like, look, this is the only thing he get. What did he say? He said something crazy.
He said, I think he said, she's a commander. How dare I have these feelings for her? Right. I would rather die than admit this.
Right. So I mean, but cute episode. I mean, it's just like I felt really bad for Anya too, though, because she wants a family, but she also wants to please her parents, make them happy, and I feel like she has a lot of pressure, man. Like I can't remember when I was that age having that much pressure on me to please people in that way, and it puts a reflection because I'm an immigrant, and that immigrant lifestyle, sometimes the parents, they put a lot of pressure on you to do well in school. So a lot of my friends, fellow immigrant friends growing up, had that pressure where they're like, I gotta please my dad, I gotta get A's, I gotta get B's, I gotta constantly do this, and Turning Red, which is a fantastic film, in my opinion, animated film, also covered that subject of like trying to please your parents and doing everything for them and not being yourself, being a kid. So it was just really interesting to see her perspective and constantly want to please her parents, and on top of that, having a lot to do with as a kid. It's a lot.
Right.
But yeah, good episode all around though.
I think one thing I've realized about this show, and the reason why Anya is such a special character, is because I truly believe that she's a little kid. Everything that she does, every small little nuance, like maybe she's like caught off guard by somebody saying something, she's like, how do I approach this? Or her adhering to what Lloyd is saying in the back of his head, because it's two-hand fold. She don't want him to fail, but she also loves him. Like she really wants to please him. And just some of the conversations that the kids have, like when they were kind of like talking down to her and the way that she was internalizing it, like it's just so believable. And normally, you have like in anime or even in movies and shows, like you have kids that really seem like they act like college students, or they have in animes where they're just overly, they have a tick about them, like their power supersedes their personality. Instead of having Anya's power be superseding of her personality bleeds through, and actually the power plays more of a hindrance to her. Like a lot of the times, like everything that she's hearing, it's not always good. The best things that she's hearing at all times is when her parents are talking about their profession or talking about something exciting or thrilling, but everything else she's auditorily hearing is most of the time really negative. It's not something you really want to hear. And it's funny because most times you think about like, oh man, I would love to be able to read somebody's thoughts. Maybe you don't. You never know what people are really thinking about you or what their intent is. And she's hearing and absorbing all of that. So on top of being a kid, she's absorbing all the other things about that. But in this episode, it really laid a really clear foundation, because for the first time, like she couldn't just ignore them because she had a mission. Her mission was to get to him to say, I'm sorry. But I don't know. What did you guys think about like Anya and just her metamorphosis as a kid and way you kind of take her as far in stride with this show? Because I think she's the key part of this to me that makes this so special.
It's the conflict we get back and forth of, we understand her power. We understand what she can do. But the show is doing a great job of showing that she can't control it. So because she can't control it, at times she just leans back on being a kid. She's lost. Like, I love the scene with the kids and everything bad they're thinking about her.
Right.
Like, this is what happens with little kids. And sometimes you get within your own head. When she's constantly like, I need to apologize to the second son, or world peace won't happen.
Right.
It's stuff of this nature. It's what little kids do. They'll take something that should be a little issue and it becomes the biggest thing in the world for them to do.
Right.
And here we see that constantly with Anya, is that at times I thought, was it a situation where she just always thought that Lloyd could give her back? I don't think that's it now. I think it's just the normal pressures of being a little kid.
Yeah.
And how she absorbs everything humanly possible. Her powers are just showing you the way kids actually still absorb information. Because even when Lloyd is talking and she's attempting to get an answer, you see it was so much going on, she couldn't focus on it.
Right.
And even when Yor was breaking it down and gave a clear answer, it still was too much information. But she's a kid. It should be too much information. That should be too much for a kid to take on. So I think her powers is bring that different element of being in a situation where this kid is, again, attempting to be a kid, attempting to focus, but understanding while I can hear everyone, it's not doing me any good that I can hear everyone.
Right. That's a good point.
Yeah. So I was actually listening. I was just trying to think about what you were saying previously about like not everything she's hearing is good, and it reminded me of the season 1 villain in Stargirl, Brainwave, who had that took that concept and did something completely bad with it. Like this guy's hearing people's thoughts, and initially was a good guy, wanted to do really good things. And he's just hearing that every person he goes to just has a bad thought, an evil thought. The only person that didn't have an evil thought was his wife. That everybody had a bad, evil thought. And he's like, you know what? Humanity's not worth it. Everyone's evil. Everyone's is dangerous. Like, this can be bad. So it makes you really think, like, she's a kid. So this is me. Like, I could see this going in a really bad direction without proper guidance. Right. Like she can grow up and just listen to all these people. Like, no, humans suck. Like everyone suck. Like I'm gonna be a villain now. I'm gonna create my own wave. It could easily go that way. I don't think they'll do that in this type of show because that's not the vibe I get from this show, where they would do a plot twist like that.
Yeah.
But you never know. But I mean, as a kid, I like what Lucas said. Like she's processing things the way that any kid would. Even taking away the powers, information that's given to a child would still be the same, right? It's just that in this case, it's internalized. She's just hearing these things in her head, and so it's just really interesting. And I like the point that you made too, saying that she's really being a kid, because that's literally what I got from her. Besides Becky seems a little bit too mature for her age, in my opinion. Honestly, I feel like Adia's the most childlike one there that's actually acting her age. Everyone else is a little bit of punching above their weight class, but
everyone else comes from money.
Money.
That's exactly it.
I mean, true. Considering the nature of Eden College and the requirements that they had for Eden College, it would also make sense why they're that way. Like, she's going out cussing in the class. Like, what the hell? Like, who the hell brought me here? I think I remember sitting down there with Shannon, and I was just like, "Young lady, watch your mouth." Like, but yeah, no.
Man, that man Lloyd, he was like, "Man, Becky gotta go. You gotta get Becky out of here. Becky's stuck in progress. He gotta get out of here."
Even now, when let's go to the cafeteria and they get there, you can order whatever you want. And Becky says, "None of this is nearly as good as my chef's food." Like,
dang, this is peasant scraps to you. Like, what about you? But even the thing with Lloyd too, like the fact that Lloyd thought that Becky was intercepting from another agency was interesting to me. Just the fact, like, oh man, like, was she sent by another agency? Like, no, she just
his overall paranoia.
It away.
Yeah.
Oh, anxiety, my old friend. That's my life every day. Like,
right.
Anxiety, my old friend. Nice to meet you again.
Yeah, that was gonna be the segue that I was gonna talk about is Lloyd. Like Lloyd, I think it was a balancing act with Lloyd. Lloyd, honestly, he's being a very strict, I guess nervous and worried dad, but at the same time, he also was trying to do his job. Like his head sense is like, oh, you gotta stick to the program, you gotta do this, procedure. And then the dad part of him is like, she can't do it. I need to help her. He kept on going balancing between the two, and neither one of those things were going to be what was going to help her. Mm-hmm. And it was funny to me that I really loved the fact that Yor realized what Lloyd was doing. And like she said it in the most kindest way. Like she was like, I can't remember the exact verbiage, but something along the lines of like, you know what, like we need to kind of like see how she's really doing. It'll give her some time. Like it'll be okay. Like, and he was like asking questions. He was like, he legit asked her a question. I think normally in marriage that doesn't even necessarily happen all the time. Like he asked her advice. He was like, look, this is not working. So what did you do with your brother? She was like, man, look, my brother was smarter than me. And he started listening to her talk about it. And then he started reading between the lines, like, oh, like he loved you interacting with him. Like he loved that you not only were praising him, but you were conscientious of him. And that whole dynamic is just so fascinating because it's gonna be the inner workings of a great father-daughter relationship later on. And I just found it was so fascinating that he was getting it wrong so much and putting so much pressure on her, even down to the subject. He didn't realize that she wanted to do this for him, but she also wanted to do this because that's what she felt like she was supposed to do. And he didn't accept that. Like it was, he wasn't reading behind the lines because down to when he got to go into her room, he noticed that she was studying, and she was like, "Yo, I need to do this. I need to do this." And he realized, oh, flip, maybe this whole entire time, like she was actually trying to apologize, and just things were getting in the way. If he would have just really let her be, I think it'd have been all right. But I don't know. It's a balance. Like parenting is a balance. Like it's like you can't be over this, but you also have to lay certain foundations.
You gotta sit down and stuff
and structures so that they can have something to gravitate towards to push themselves. It's just fascinating to watch as a parent seeing it. I don't know. Y'all want to talk towards Lloyd in this episode?
Lloyd is a helicopter parent in this episode. Like he's not giving her. He literally is standing over her, not giving her a chance to make a decision on what to do.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then we see as it gets to him helping her study, it's the same exact thing. So yours entire story was just about you don't have to be hard on them. Kids, in the end, only want to impress their parent or the authoritative figure they see. And that's what your disappointment with her relationship with her brother. It wasn't a situation where I'm smarter than him and he needs me. It's a situation where he wants me to approve of everything. And that's the thing with kids. The kids love that. That's the one thing they want to do is make you proud. And we saw it through the flashbacks of her brother doing everything to make her proud of him. And then we see here with Anya in the situation with Lloyd, it was a situation where he was just controlling everything. Up until she apologized, and then he realized, oh, maybe she had this all along on her own.
Right.
Maybe she didn't need me to do this. But by that point, the damage was done already.
Right.
Because he made it, as Anya said, when she said it's so much pressure now, he made it worse.
Right.
And that's what parents tend to do, is that at times parents can make a very big issue out of something minute to a kid. And when you do that, it puts so much pressure on the kid to do anything. Because at the beginning of the episode, we see Anya just saying, I gotta apologize. Then all of a sudden, with all the messaging, she just like, oh, this is way too much. like, like I don't know what to do with so much pressure on me.
Yeah, that's right. Cause that's why she ended up breaking down. Like it was like
between the comments and the pressure, like everything was pulling her in multiple different directions. So she got emotional because of it.
Right.
Oh, my poor Anya should not be crying. Do not make this girl cry. I'm gonna fight somebody. Somebody about to catch these fingers in these hands. Because nobody's supposed to be making her cry. No, to add to that, it was a great point. I mean, like, y'all know, y'all can probably relate too. Like, I know for me, it annoyed me so much when I genuinely was about to do something, and mom goes, "Hey, you gonna take out the trash? Go take out the trash. You never take out the trash." And I'm like, I was literally about to get up and do it as you asked me to do it. So, and it makes you feel like, dang, I don't feel like doing this no more. I don't even want to do this no more. I was about to do it with the goodness of my heart. It's like it's a similar thing too with Lloyd. Like she already made up in her mind that, like, you know what, I have to do this. I gotta apologize. I actually want to do this. And then eventually going like, okay, apologize, and the pressure comes on like, okay, like what's going on? What's gonna happen here? I was about to do this already, but now you're forcing me to do it. I don't even feel like doing it no more, and now I'm confused. But the whole thing with Lloyd as a parent, I think the dynamic that was interesting to me was with you could really see how they were both raised in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
Like she, even though we don't know much about her parenting situation or anything like that, she had someone to love. She had someone that loved her, and she loved this person as
Mm-hmm.
it was her little brother. So she
Right.
knows what it's like to have someone to love and a
Mm-hmm.
family of mutual love sharing. I guess if that makes any sense. What I'm trying to say, I couldn't find the word, but or mutual compassion. I guess if that's
Yeah.
a better term to use, right?
Yeah.
So there's that. Whereas Lloyd literally had grew up with no parents,
Yep.
no siblings, nothing, and everything is micromanaged to a T. Everything is
Mhm.
it's done by this way, and you can even see the way that they explain things. Even though yours assessment of how to do the homework was like, okay, cut the head off this way to this, and then there's a body. Her explanation of it was a little bit more simplified in her own way, weird way.
Yeah.
Um, Whereas Lloyd was like breaking it down by this equation and this
Right.
and that, like doing too much.
Right.
So it was really nice to see him step back and say, you know what, how did you, like you said, Sam, like how did you do this? How would you handle this situation? And
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
also you're being respectful because she still doesn't even know that he's a spy. She still has
Right.
no idea what his whole he really does think Anya is his kid, right? So she's like, look, I don't mean to overstep. I don't want to overstep, but maybe you just got to let her do her thing.
Yep.
And at the end of that episode, where he reassures her, like, no, like you are a mother, like you are my wife, even though we are doing this thing, like you are a mother here, like you're,
Mm-hmm.
we're in this together. And that was interesting. I just need to see them, have a moment. That's gonna be great for me. That's gonna be great to see them all have a good moment like that. I know y'all probably already talked about this in the last episode, but it was really cool to see your beat the mess out of those guys outside. That was an angry mama bear right there. Don't mess with a mama bear. She will tear you to shreds.
She beat the tar out of them jokers. And the funny thing is, when she sliced through that gosh darn melon, that man said, "Nope, I don't want that smoke. I don't want that smoke."
It's the nerve though that he had to say in the beginning, oh man, now we gotta charge for medical bills. What you mean now you have to charge for medical
Right.
bills?
Right.
You need to leave.
Man.
You
But
better ask her to pay for the taxi to leave.
I think the thing that gets me about the relationship of all of them, genuinely, I don't know, it's just so strange, man. Like, they're all from different places. Like, at one point, Lloyd contemplated, man, it would be so simple just to assassinate this dude, but then it wouldn't fix the actual problem. Like, I was like, wait, hold on, you're a spy, Lloyd. Why are you questioning assassinating this man? Hold on, what's going on here? And it shows like how, disconnected, like he's so disjointed. Like he's not on his normal esteem. I think he alluded to something like that. He said something like, none of this has been ideal. Like
when he talked about being an ideal father, and he said, so far nothing has been ideal, which is the key point about being a father.
Right.
Man, if you think it's perfect, let me tell you, it never is perfect.
It's not at all.
I mean, you dropped them a couple times. More than a couple times, actually. More.
Why you send Sam to some flashbacks? Hey, this man had his own anime flashback. He was looking at.
I really did just have an anime flashback. I was like,
"Hey, look here. All I'm gonna say is one child who's grown now, or who's not grown but is like late teenage years. I'm like, thank God, because there should be. I always thought maybe a little special. Like, I mean, I dropped you on your head just enough times for it to be a problem.
I think my mom said to me a long time ago, she was like, you had so many scrapes, broken bones, and stuff like that. I didn't think you were going to make it to adulthood. Straight up. Yeah. She said that to me, I don't know how many times. She's like, I didn't think he was going to make it. And, like, I mean, as my kids start to get older and they're sitting there doing crazy, foolish stuff, like, you ponder the same exact thing. And I think, again, Lloyd is getting the understanding. He doesn't know what a father even is. He didn't understand that concept. And so it's like, it's so fascinating because Yor is really nurturing him to be a really good dad and be the head of the household. Like, she's the I don't know how to put it. She's like the best like support system, like partner. I don't know how to put it. Like she's like the perfect wife, but she's not. But then at the same time, she's catering to him in whatever way she can, and she's saying it in the nicest of ways. Like she's just so respectful, bro. I don't know how to put it.
Can I add something to that?
It's so weird.
I feel like yours is stereotypical housewife that a lot of dudes want, right? And that's how they wrote her on paper, because that's how she acts around Lloyd. I know from experience that it can be a little bit more of a pushback and a little bit more of an actual, conversation going back and forth between you and your spouse. Not saying it's a good or a bad thing. At least just from my experience, it's never just like one person says one thing, the other one's the loving, caring one. It's like, no, we both got things to work on. We both have our strengths and we both have our weaknesses, and we kind of have that exchange. So whenever I see Lloyd and Yor, it's just like, it just kind of gives me like that 1950s sitcom mom.
Or let me ask you a question. I mean? Could it be that, or because you're still under the impression that Anya is Lloyd's?
Yeah.
Right.
So could it be a situation, and I think they pinpointed this episode when she's talking about Anya and Lloyd's relationship, and she's like, "Oh, but I'm not an actual mother." So she's coming to the situation like an outsider and not necessarily like a part of the family. So then that gives that perception of it being the quiet wife that doesn't say anything. It's not that she's a quiet wife not saying anything. She's someone who feels like it's not my place to say anything because they're a family and I'm just here.
Right. And I think that's been pinpointed even when they had their interview, because when Anya was attacked by that dude, the first thing Yor did, she broke protocol. Like she was ready to kill that dude straight up. And like she did that in front of Lloyd. Lloyd was like, please calm down. Please. She won't calm it down. So I don't, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that the way that she's approaching it, she's still telling him exactly how she feels, but she's saying it in such a way that either he could take it or leave it, but it's the best way that he can be able to receive it. Because you can disagree with somebody and say it in a respectful way.
It's that, oh, baby, but you sure we should do that? Just think about it for a second. And you're like, you know what? You may be right. All right, you're right. Like that. It's the caring that comes across. I care for you, and I'm gonna like sugarcoat this as much as possible.
Right.
That is so interesting because in my experience, if I don't like something, don't do that. I don't know. Maybe things will be different 10 years from now. Maybe I'll approach it differently. But at least for now, I'm very direct. Like, I mean, she's pretty direct with me too. We're both pretty direct. She's a little bit more nicer.
See,
than
there
me.
You go.
She's a little bit more nicer.
You said it perfectly. She probably finds her ways to be like,
no,
think about it for a second.
No, she does. She does for sure. She does 1,000%. For me, I'm just like, no, don't do that. Nah, that's not a good idea. Or no.
That's not true. That's I am man. No.
Oh man,
we all go through that part of it.
Yeah, we're going.
Hey, I'll get back to y'all in 10 years. See how it is.
We're gonna switch gears. But yeah, no, this was another great episode. I mean, honestly, man, this anime is just—it's not just a feel-good anime. It's a good anime. It's good for a lot of different reasons. And I think even being a parent, like I can pull so much from it and connect with it in a very interesting way in this place in my life. But it's got something for everybody. Like if you just kind of want to see like, interesting spy in a compromised situation, how's he gonna get out of it? You got it, But then you got really great animation and a good anime. You got a good soundtrack. It's such a good anime, man. Like every single week I look forward to talking about it, because of the devotion that you feel through the writing of the characters as a collective. Because eventually, for a fact, Yor and Lloyd are going to have a confliction at some point.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just waiting for her organization to say, yeah, I need you to kill this dude straight up. Like, not necessarily Lloyd, but somebody that he's trying to get. And that's an immediate confliction because now she kills without even thinking, not without even a thought. I can't imagine in my head her turning down a job.
Winter Soldier.
I would believe him to cancel a job before her. So at a certain point, that's going to be the case. And this is the sad thing with every parent, or even if you're a child dealing with like parents that are fighting, when you are the child in the middle trying to keep your parents together, and she's going to be able to hear their emotions back and forth, that's going to be interesting. Like that's what I'm waiting to see, because when they have an issue with each other, what is she going to do? How's Anya going to take that?
So can I add this? I feel like I'm interjecting a lot, so forgive me. But what I'm thinking about is when you said like there's a lot to draw from. One of the things that I'm drawing from it too is because eventually I want to be a parent myself. So it's like I'm looking at it as like, okay, how are these two people approaching this child? How they're approaching raising a child? Like you can see the different thought process, and for me, I always see things like what to do and what not to do. Like I'm seeing how Lloyd's approaching Anya. I'm like, okay, don't do that. If I see like Yor does this, okay, do that, or don't do that. So it's just really cool just to see like a new quote unquote, even if it's a pseudo couple, they're now getting into this situation. They're now raising a child, via adoption, obviously for Yor and for Lloyd. Unbeknownst to Yor that it's that situation, but they both adopted this kid, and they're raising her now. They have to now find themselves and also help her find out who she is in the process too, while also doing their missions as well. So it's like, hey, I got these responsibilities at work, and it might conflict with my home life, but I also have to think about the well-being of my child. Right. And like, how am I going to go about the two of that? And you can start to see that with Lloyd too. Like, okay, I have these responsibilities, but I'm also starting to have this affection for this child as if she's my own, and I want to make sure that she's safe. And you can start to see that because he cares. If he didn't care, you just be like, look, just do this, this, and that. And don't argue with me, or else I'm gonna send you back. Like, and that was his approach.
Wow, that's a horrible thing.
That was his approach in the beginning, though.
Initially, it was.
Definitely was.
This man literally was like, all right, maybe I'll send her back because she's not, maybe she might not be right for this job.
Right.
Maybe
she's defective.
Yeah.
Right.
She heard him say that. I was like, no, I have a lot of good qualities. No, like keep me. So in the beginning, like episode 1, Lloyd would have probably sent her back.
Yep.
Lloyd now is like, he loves her. He cares for her and her well-being. He would never think about doing that. So I want to see when it comes to that climax moment of the show where there might be a situation where he does have to face that challenge and be like, okay, my mission's either done or it failed, or maybe they found out what I'm doing and they cut me off the mission. Do I, defend my country and cut her off, cut Yor off, or do I
protect my family?
Protect my family.
Right.
So I know he's gonna have to face that choice at some point. So I'm just looking forward to see when that happens.
That's a good point, because even Lucas brought this up, like when he was asking himself, like, what would it be like to have like a real family? Like he's not accepted. I don't think he's accepted the emotions that he's really feeling. The reason why I say that is because if he really looked at it, he's like, and really took a step, like, wait, am I caring for them? Like, do I really love them? Like, do I look at them like my family? Because I think that right now he's in this train of thought of like, okay, they're part of the mission. They're important. I need to keep them happy for the mission.
Mine.
Right. That's what he's looking at it. But emotionally and subconsciously, he is. That's why he's asking the question, what if? The moment he finally gets it, that's gonna be fascinating.
He might walk up in there and slap the commissioner or something.
Oh man.
He's gonna do something crazy. I sense it.
Elegance.
I was actually waiting for my man to say that too. I'm like, watch after Anya describes why she punched this kid. He's gonna say, so elegant. She defended her friend, so elegant. She's gonna lose points, but elegant. Because he know he done slapped that other guy in the office too. So,
But clearly, we saw.
Oh, he punched that brother. He punched the mess out of his team. But yeah, I don't have anything else. I think we're good. Until next week. Yeah, we're gonna go and do another discussion on another interesting anime in summertime rendering. So we'll be back. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit the bell button, go down to the description bar below, subscribe to Matt's channel, follow his reactions to such things as we're talking about right now, and we'll be back. Peace, everybody. If I can find the outro.
Wow.
Filing out the top of
I can see the skyline, 50 mile radius on my timeline. Ain't nothing.